Hey, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. Thanks for tuning in to the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM. If you're interested in sponsoring my show, you can send me an email to the Mike Wagner Show at gmail.com, or you could also donate to the podcast. Just go to the Donate Listen site, and you can also donate whatever you like. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. For those who are interested, Anchor can give you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. We've got creation tools, allows you to record and edit podcasts so it sounds great, and they'll distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple, Google, many more. And you can make money from the podcast with no minimum listenership. So download the Anchor app for free or go to Anchor FM to get started.
Hello?
Hello, Sadie.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show brings you famous celebrities and amazing people from all over the world. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. So sit back and relax and enjoy the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and Apple. Also coming very soon, you can hear a show on Stitcher. Also on some other outlets as well, too, including Breaker and more. You can also download instead, the MikeWagnerShow.com. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device and subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. We're here with a wonderful lady from the Orange County, California area. She's an LA-based actress, writer, producer, and director. She's been featured in Wrong Turn 6 as Sally Hilliker, and she's been involved in numerous projects. She debuted in House of Bad with rave reviews, also in Blood Feast, Party Bus to Hell, The Bill Murray Experience, Automation, and more. Scorned as well. She wrote that and involved in a lot of horror genres as well, too, but just a terrific actress. Once you get to know her, and not very scary. And live from Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen, the very multi-talented and don't forget to say the name, Sadie Katz. Sadie, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me. What an introduction. Thank you.
Anytime. So you're based out of Los Angeles. You're an actress, writer, producer, and director, which is you're multi-talented. It is amazing. You've been featured in Wrong Turn 6, which has been very popular lately as Sally Hilliker, and you've been involved in other projects like Blood Feast, Party Bus to Hell, Bill Murray Experience, Automation, Scorned, and more. And you debuted in House of Bad, which you got rave reviews. You're off to a great start. And before we get into all that, tell us how you got started.
Well, you know what? I kind of did it the very, I like to say it was like the old-fashioned hard route, but, I really started, getting backstage rest and, taking my headshots and stapling them and taking the backstage rest and, sending out my picture and resume and going for student films. And, this is I'm dating myself, but I would send out my pictures and then I would go for student films and do shorts. And, it seemed like a long process, but I was kind of grateful because it gave me a little bit of experience on set. And it was a grind and doing theater and everything until I finally started booking. Actually, House of Bad was my first feature horror lead. So that was that, and then I actually started my first feature film was Nipples and Palm Trees, which sounds very scandalous.
It
sounds very naughty, but it was a fun film.
It sounds like the name of it, and tell us all about that one.
Well, it was directed by Dylan Reynolds, and it starred Matt James, and it actually, I'm going to butcher his name, but it had another horror, I want to say icon. God damn, I forgot it. He was in, what's it's the great film where now I'm going to say a bad word, where they sewed everyone ass to mouth. Human Centipede. The lead from that. But it was a horror. It wasn't a horror comedy. It was a sex comedy romp about a guy looking for love in all the wrong places in Los Angeles. And so that was like my first theatrical film where I was the lead in that, playing Harmony. And so that was my first one that came out. And then I did a horror film, which was House of Bad. And, it sort of started picking up from there, but it took a while. It says it takes 10 years, and it was like 10 years of kind of doing theater and shorts and a lot of student films before I started to really book stuff, which I'm grateful for.
As amazing too, and you've gotten a lot of rave reviews on Wrong Turn 6 Last Resort, and tell us all about that.
Well, that was a really fun coup for me because they shot that in Bulgaria, which was really exciting. And I was really in love with Sally Hilliker. She's this, if you're familiar with the film, she's this crazy cannibal, right, as they are in West Virginia. And I got to play this demented character who Frank Woodworth wrote, this really complicated, wonderful woman who wanted to continue the family line and keep it pure. And so that was a really, gift to play this really twisted lead antagonist in a horror franchise that people already really loved. And, I thought of it as such a gift. So, I feel like every day that I was shooting, I was like, throwing myself in and hoping that the fans would like it. And, and the critics would like it, and a lot of them did. And it was a very sexy, crazy character, and I had a fucking ball playing it. God dang it. That was my effort. Sorry, I had a ball playing it. And it was really fun. It was with Aquila Zoll and Anthony Aylott and Roxanne Pillette were some of the other leads in it, and they were just really wonderful. And God, I had so much fun, and being in a foreign country, getting to do something like that. And it was the first time I actually saw the weather turn from from winter to spring. So there was something just really magical about shooting that.
Wow, that is something. And you're in Bulgaria to do that. So how'd you like Bulgaria? Yeah. What were your thoughts on it?
Oh God, it's kind of like it's an Eastern European broken country that's beautiful. There's something about it that's, first of all, everyone in Bulgaria is beautiful. Like, all the women are absolutely stunning supermodels, and that's not an exaggeration. It's like, I remember the first time I had a meal there. So they put us up in this great hotel, the Hotel Kempinski, and I'm sitting there and I'm ordering, and the waitress comes up and she looks like Claudia Schiffer, and I'm like, what is going on? And then, the hostess is beautiful, and I'm like, well, all the waitresses here are absolutely stunning. Then the next day I go and get coffee at their equivalent of like a Starbucks. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? Every woman here is very beautiful. And then I realized, that's just how they come in Eastern Europe. I felt like, I sort of felt like an ugly duckling there, but they're all just these beautiful Eastern European women, and the country itself is, I say broken country lovingly. It's just a country that's kind of in flux, but there's something, sweet about the buildings that are older and they're crumbling, but they're still filled with a lot of love. Their families are, they're very close-knit families, and they love Americans. They're very friendly towards Americans, and the crew, we have 100 crew members, and they love what they do, and just very passionate people. I loved being there. I would love to go back and film there again. It's a 20th Century Fox film, but UFO, they sublet it, I guess, what you would say, to other studios. So UFO Films was who we filmed with, and they were just absolutely wonderful to work with, and they treated us very kindly.
That is amazing, too. And did you consider a culture shock when you came into Bulgaria?
Yes, because you know what's funny is, sorry, I'm in my car right now. Forgive me.
That's okay.
Edit this out. I'm getting away from the lawnmowers. You know what's really interesting is you think that you're going to be able to like read signs, but you really can't because they're in a totally different, character. And so it was really like trying to get around was an adventure unto itself. And that was, to me, just getting to, through the airports and everything. I think our stop or the layover was I want to say it was Istanbul. So that was like, there was something very absolutely surreal. And, it was part of the whole adventure of getting to film this crazy movie that's like very much a fantasy. And, we filmed in like this big castle, and the whole experience was sort of like, after that I filmed Blood Feast in Germany, and, I've got to go to Colombia and Italy since and also film. But there's something about filming in a foreign country that just adds, like, heightens to the experience. Because, when you're filming on location, you're at a hotel and you're just kind of, you're waiting for your sides to get pushed and your schedule to get pushed underneath your hotel door. So, like, your only obligation is to be there and to play that character. And when you're playing these really crazy characters, there's something magical about the whole thing of being kind of a fish out of water already, because you just get this beautiful opportunity to be totally absorbed into that world of what's going on. And then, I was really, myself and Aquila were the only Americans on set. Everybody else was either English, or from London, or they were Bulgarian. So your cast doesn't speak English, or English is their second language. So it's like broken English. So there's, bad things and good things about that. But one of the things that's interesting is in between takes is no one speaking in English. So you're kind of just standing there, and there's, 80 to 100 people kind of buzzing around you, resetting lights, and you're just standing there going, are we okay? Are we good? What are we doing next? And what I found kind of a gift is I didn't have to really worry as an actor what was going on around me. I just had to stay in character and kind of, surrender to the process and let them do their job and me kind of stay in my world and do my job, which was kind of really cool.
Mm-hmm. That is amazing, too. And, of course, also, too, what are some of the Bulgarian phrases that you've picked up as well?
Oh, God, none.
Really?
What I realized is I have no, some people have a gift for picking up language, and I do not. I have a hard enough time with the pronunciation of, English. So for me, I tried to pick up some words. But I was not very good at it. Aquila, she picked up some Bulgarian, and she was very adept at it. I did not. I kind of stumbled. It's a really thick accent, and I was not very good at it. I got very good at like sign language, and I can pick up at like people's emotions. So, but Larry, the director, and I had a really fun time because I would get done with like a take, and I would look at him and go, "So, was that okay?" And he would kind of like grunt at me and make a face like, sexy, no, too sexy, They make these really fun, kind of outlandish faces, and, so we got really good at kind of miming to each other what he was looking for, which was sometimes really, there's some really funny scenes with Sally, I'm giving you a spoiler here where I'm like, basically suffocating someone with a pillow and me writing it with my, for lack of a better word, vagina. So him miming what he wanted that scene to look like was very, very fun. Very ridiculous and very fun because Sally was supposed to be both sexy and scary at the same time. And also, Wrong Turn is funny. It's tongue in cheek. So there's always kind of a balance of, when is Sally off her rocker and when is she sexy and when is she, scary. And so there was kind of levels to that we had fun translating that to each other.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. We'll talk about a couple of awards you won as well, too, a documentary that you tried, and also a script that you wrote as well, too. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and Apple. Also take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. And you can also listen to the Mike Wagner Show on our newest platform, Stitcher. And you can also subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. We're here with actress Sadie Katz from Los Angeles. She's an actress, writer, producer, and director. She's been featured lately in the popular Wrong Turn 6 as Sally Hilliker, and she debuted in House of Bad with rave reviews, and she's also been in quite a number of movies as well, too. And we're going to talk about a documentary, which I found fascinating, and it's the Bill Murray Experience. So tell us all about that and give us an experience and what's it like being with Bill Murray.
Well, so I got very intrigued by the idea that a lot of people were having these really random chance encounters with, the fabulous Bill Murray. And I started to think that I would have loved to meet Bill Murray and wanted to have my own magical random experience with Bill Murray, which is where the real silliness began, because how do you have a random magical chance encounter with Bill Murray? He's, one of the world's most elusive actors. So that's the premise of the documentary, and it was a lot of fun to film, and I met some fun people I worked with Bill along the way, including his brother. Not only worked with him, but happened to be his brother, Joel Murray, and PJ Souls from Stripes, who worked with him early in his career, and who's also a scream queen herself, and who's a lovely, lovely, lovely woman. And then, I went all the way to chase Bill at golf and the Murray Brothers golf tournament. And I can't tell you my Bill Murray experience because then I would be ruining the fun of the film. I worked with Jim Towns, was my editor and also my animator. And so we included some other people's Bill Murray experiences in them and included some animation. And I learned a lot about documentaries and making films, which is kind of part of the fun of the documentary, is that I started off knowing absolutely not what I am doing at all, which is sort of, as we were going in the beginning, I didn't take it all too seriously. I sort of thought I was making like this jackass of films of, that, it's just going to be fun. I'm going to be on the road and I'm going to meet Bill Murray and it's going to be this silly thing. And then, as happens as, being any filmmaker or anyone who starts to fall into the black hole of being obsessed with something, as I got obsessed with finding Bill Murray. I think about when you buy a white car, all of a sudden you notice there's only white cars on the road. It kind of became the same thing with Bill Murray, is like the more I got obsessed with Bill Murray, the more I saw Bill Murray everywhere, which became like a sign of me thinking that I needed to go forward in my quest to meet Bill Murray. And that led to lots of fun hijinks, and also it became a deeper quest along the way. So I do encourage anyone and all your listeners to watch the doc and tell me what they think. and to share their Bill Murray stories, too.
That was amazing, too. And what's your favorite Bill Murray film?
You know what? This changes, but I think the one that kind of moves me the most is Broken Flowers. To me, there's something really poignant about that film. I tend to kind of like the serious side of Bill, like Lost in Translation, Broken Flowers. He goes and visits all his ex-girlfriends along the way and sees them through a different eye after he's been broken up with. He kind of traces what happened in his life and who he's dated and sees them through a different lens than just like the hot girls he used to sleep with. That film gets me every time. I think those are my two favorites of his.
I happen to enjoy Stripes as well, too. Lost in Translation was really good, but haven't seen Broken Flowers yet. And I'm glad you reminded me. As soon as I'm done with you, I'm going to go ahead and rent that as well, too, and I'll let you know about it. I also associate him in Caddyshack as well, too, one of my favorites.
Of course.
And, of course, Ghostbusters, and I'm also thinking of the other Bill Murray film, and oh, my gosh, it's like all of a sudden I am drawing a blank as well, too. So, and of course, you talked about Bill Murray as well, too, being in a golf tournament. What's Bill Murray like as a golfer?
You know what? I think he's just having a lot of fun out there. It's like, there's some people who, I'm not a golfer myself, but I know a lot of golfers, and I've spent more time than for someone who's not a golfer. I've spent a lot of time on the golf courses. He's just having a really fun time and there to kind of entertain people. I think, he's like bringing out, swimming pools, and he knows that, like, when he plays golf, he takes it seriously, I think, with his brothers, but when he's playing golf, he's realizing that he's being watched by a lot of people, and, like his brothers, they're all really obsessed with golfers, but they also like kind of the silliness of it, and they have their own golf line of clothes, so they're all dressed really ridiculously, and, they're out there to have some beers and, give each other a hard time. Their whole family's, big drinkers, big having fun, but they're not really talking shop when they're out there golfing. They're just having a ball out there. I don't think they're like, the golfers that are like throwing their golf clubs and such and, screaming and yelling. They're being goofballs.
It made me think of Caddyshack as well, too. You had some temperamental people. You had fun. And I still remember Bill Murray trying to chase that ridiculous groundhog. But then there was also the part where he had that some kid threw a Baby Ruth in there. And, of course, what Baby Ruths look like. And somebody thought it was a you-know-what. They had to clear the pool.
Yeah.
He ate it and just says, oh, this tastes pretty good. It was actually Baby Ruth. That was the funniest part in that movie about Caddyshack. It was so hilarious. I just loved it.
Yeah, I think it's funny because, like, if you go, they have two restaurants that are like devoted to Caddyshack, the movie, and also just like the love of golf. Like, I mean, this is a family that loves golf, and enough that they did the movie, and they have this whole, like, basically they have this whole business around it, but I don't think they take it as seriously. But I'm sure. I think Bill's a much nicer person than from the interviews that I did back in the day. I think he did a lot more temper tantrums, and now that he's gotten older, he seems to have mellowed out,
Mm-hmm.
But and I'm sure his golf game has mellowed out too. He seems to be just having a fun time. I went to Pebble Beach as part of my documentary, so I got a lot of funny stories. Everybody who lives in Pebble Beach will tell you Bill Murray's story of something, ludicrous he did.
Now, is Pebble Beach tied to the Bill Murray Experience movie, or is this totally separate?
Well, I went to Pebble Beach looking for Bill, and that's kind of my first quest was, Bill Murray goes to Pebble Beach every year for, the Pebble Beach golf tournament. And so, but I don't want to give anything away, but that's the first place I met Bill Murray.
You know what? after recovering from my brain fart trying to figure out Bill Murray movies, now I got it here. He was also in Groundhog Day, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, one of my favorites. I enjoyed Space Jam. My kids loved it. And, of course, my wife loved it. And I think there was also What About Bob and also Mrs. Jones. And he did that. Razor's Edge was also a serious one. Maybe you can just tell him a little about those and your other favorite Bill Murray films. Oh, and also Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Well, they say that, from all the stuff I've read about Bill Murray, like that Razor's Edge was the film that was like the first serious film that he went to do. And, as legend has it in the interviews that he's done or, things that have been written about Bill, that when that was kind of panned by critics, he wanted to quit acting for a while. And because he really loved that film and that meant something to him, and he almost left acting because he felt like he didn't want to be pigeonholed to be stuck doing only comedies. And that was, heartbreaking to him that wasn't received. The Razor's Edge wasn't really received as a good film till later on in Bill's career, and then I think people looked back and realized what a great work of art that really was. But I think it was kind of like a shock that he was, at the time, comedic actors didn't really turn and do serious roles. It wasn't like when, Robin Williams did, turned and did serious roles, or Jim Carrey. That wasn't really heard of, and Bill was the first comedic actor to kind of switch genres like that. And then, now that's more heard of. So that's a lot of what I read about Bill and his, feelings towards Razor's Edge. And, now Bill, I think there's nothing that Bill can't do that people don't really kind of dig. And if you're a Bill Murray fan, you're kind of a fan of, everything he does. Mm-hmm. Some funny stories that I read about, why he did Garfield is, that he thought it was by Cohen, but he thought it was the Coen brothers. So he signed on without actually reading it, without actually realizing what Cohen had written, the Garfield script. Uh-huh. So he went, I love the Coen brothers. Of course I'll do Garfield. So he kind of got roped in doing it, And, famously, I think this is different now that Bill does have a cell phone now and he does have a phone number. But for years, Bill didn't have a cell phone. He had an 800 phone number, and that was the only way you could get in touch with him. So he signed on for a lot of projects, and he also missed a lot of projects because he wasn't really available to get in touch with. So, he would bounce on and off the radar, which is partly what kind of gave him that mystique and that, crazy lure, the folklore of Bill Murray. So, a lot of what was fun about him, what made me really fall more and more in love with Bill is at the time when I started working on the documentary, it was just, he kind of became like this Bigfoot or this Santa Claus character to me, of just he's the only one who's in this time where we're just we're so connected to our phones and social media. Here was this actor who, who doesn't have a Twitter, who doesn't have a Facebook or an Instagram, and who, doesn't have an agent, and didn't follow those kind of rules for how to make it in Hollywood yet. Mm-hmm. He's, truly a legend. And I get overwhelmed by even as an indie actor is trying to always hustle to do more and more and more. It's it's hard to do your art and want to do things when when I was younger, if you wanted to make candles, you would just make candles and go to Venice Beach or go to a concert and sell your candles. And now it's you have to make a website and do all these crazy things, or else you're not really going to be successful, or people won't deem you as being successful. And Bill kind of was able to be this A-list actor without following any of those rules, which I think is what makes him kind of this hipster icon.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like that what you do back then is ordinary, not to keep upping your game higher and higher thanks to social media.
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of like, like when I go on an audition, I find it very odd sometimes. I'll be going for an audition and I'll meet a director and the first thing they'll say is, well, how many Instagram followers do you have? I'm like, I don't know. Like, if the typical, indie horror audience, if they're really picking their horror movies based on, Instagram followers, it's nice if they follow you on Instagram, but I'm like, I don't know if, when I'm going to watch a horror movie, if I'm, picking someone based on, who I follow on Instagram. But it's definitely, part of the job. But after a while, if you spend too much time on that, then you're not really spending time, studying acting, or, if you're a writer, I'm a writer, I've got to spend time writing, and it's hard to spend time writing if you're doing social media, or I'm sure you feel the same way. So much of your business is,
right.
Wanting to be creative, but you also have to be on the computer all the time.
Exactly. No, what you mean. It's almost like you have to keep pushing yourself faster and faster than you have before. And of course, growing up in radio myself, all it took is just like a tape and maybe some splicing and regular mic, and then you had records, tapes, and all that. Nowadays, it's like you got to have so many computers, so many smartphones and everything else, and so many social media outlets. It's almost like you're practically being surrounded. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And of course, you also had a couple awards as well too, including one that was that's very honorable. And one more question before we get to the awards: what's the funniest Bill Murray story that you have encountered?
Oh boy, I've heard some funny stories. Oh gosh. Well, one story that I think is, to me, just kind of the wackiness of Bill is, so PJ Souls tells this really great story in our talk of, so after they did Stripes together, she was approached by, who did Splash?
Daryl Hannah.
Well, no, the director of Splash.
Director. I'm sorry. I thought you meant the actress. I was thinking right. Daryl Hannah. But
so the director of Splash, I can't remember his name, and I don't have Google in front of me. Anyways, he gives her the script and says, look, she's got her great blonde hair, PJ Souls, and PJ and Bill had amazing chemistry and
you mean
Stripes.
You mean Ron Howard, the director of
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
that's
yes.
Embarrassing. So Ron Howard says, you and Bill have this amazing chemistry, and I think you would be great in Splash. So he gives her the script, and she meets Bill at Hamburger Hamlet and says, you got to read this script. It's brilliant. And Bill looks at the script and throws it across the floor of Hamburger Hamlet and basically says, he has no interest in reading it, doesn't want to do another comedy. And I think that's when he did Razor's Edge. And, and then Daryl Hannah, of course, goes on to do, the movie Splash. So I think that kind of, Bill, there are some movies, if you actually research how many movies that Bill turned down that went on to make people's careers because he turned them down, just, kind of on his own whim, it would blow your mind. And you could also say he made some careers and also broke some careers, but he's very much like this irreverent artist.
Interesting you mentioned about Bill Murray turning down films which other stars picked up and become big hits. What are some of the films Bill Murray turned down and end up being hits? You're being starred by somebody else.
Oh, God. Well, that's one of them. I'd have to, I'm on the spot. I don't know. I at one point I had a list of there was 30 films. If you Google it, it's actually a fun Google. I suggest Googling it because it's just a ton of films that you're like, oh my God, that would have been such a different film. I think there was even Batman he was up for, a lot of odd films.
Mm-hmm. And if you said Batman, I can imagine him, saying, I'm Batman. or something like that.
Yeah, or maybe it was like Joker, or like there was like odd films that you were like, oh, he could have done that. That would have been a really interesting take on it. But that he didn't end up doing it.
Wow. You know what? I'm actually Googling it right now as we speak here. He lost the role of Star Wars, Han Solo, Animal House, The Jerk, Dead Zone, Three Amigos, Legal Eagles, Club Paradise, and of course, you can look it up as well, too. And it's just like, you wonder, or was it Chewie? You've got to know what you're doing. Yoda, shut up.
Yeah, it's like in films that he didn't return the phone call for, but that you're like, well, that would have been a different film. But you could see him in the role, but you're like, wow. Yeah, but the Star Wars is definitely one of the big ones that, is legendary. Yeah.
Oh, that is amazing as well, too. I love talking about the Bill Murray experience with you. I love to do it again with you. And you also won a couple of other awards. We'll talk about that. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google, and Apple Play. Also coming to Stitcher very soon. And take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. And subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. We're here with actress Sadie Katz, based out of Los Angeles. She's an actress, writer, producer, and director. She was featured in Wrong Turn 6 as Sally Hilliker. She was also in the Bill Murray Experience. She debuted in The House of Bad and talked about some other films. And there was also some awards as well, too, that you were also a winner in the Hollywood Horror Fest this year for animation. Just tell us all about that and the film.
Oh, gosh, I just went to another film festival this weekend. This is like one of the sweeter films that I've done. I would say it's a horror film, but it's more sci-fi. It's by, I always say his name wrong, director Garo Satine. I'm saying it totally wrong. Forgive me, Garo. It's his directorial debut. He has done over 300 trailers for Lionsgate, and he has 3 Clio Awards, I believe.
Wow.
He was such a sweetheart director, and this was his baby project that he wanted to do for a long time, but he was so tied up in doing all these great trailers. And it's basically about, I played Susan, what was her last name? I can't remember. Susan Hayworth. Mm-hmm. Susan Hayworth. And I run a corporation that does coffee machines or whatever, a paper corporation. And we decide that we are going to cut costs and hire robots to do what humans should be doing. And Alyssa Dowling stars in it. She does a wonderful job, and she won lead actress. I think she just won another lead actress award. And the cinematographer is Michael Sue, who does a bang-up job. And Perry Shen is in it as well from the Hatchet films, and he's great. And it's really the story about the robot who actually starts to develop feelings because he was programmed he's experiencing PTSD because he was actually a robot that we got from military use. And it is a really fun, and I say this affectionately, B movie in all the best terms. It's kind of a nod to the classic B movies, and it's really tongue-in-cheek, and there's some goofiness. I like to say that. If you watch it, I feel like I give a little I thought of a little bit of a Scooby-Doo-ness to the film.
Uh-huh.
I felt like I was a little bit like Daphne, and and just a tad, just a little wink to it. I play a very serious, I've got this pink business suit on, and I mean all business, and then stuff starts to go haywire with this robot, and it's myself and Alyssa Dowling, who's the lead, and I'm the supporting actress, and we kind of have to, either die by this robot or kick the robot's butt. And I'll let you watch the movie and see what happens. But it's a really sweet, fun film, and the audiences have really enjoyed it, and I'm really proud of it. I think that people are just going to really love it. It's getting good reviews so far, and it's going to be released, I believe, at the end of this month.
Wow, that is amazing. And you talked about the robot suffering from PTSD and made mentions of it. Did it address the PTSD in any way, shape, or form, or was it just all about the movie itself?
Oh, they do. In fact, what's really fun about this movie is it takes place in the future, and there's like flying cars and big, we see him in like this, wartime situation. And I mean, the special effects graphics are great. I mean, this film looks absolutely fantastic. The FX team is really something. I mean, there's, flying cars in the movie. It's such a cool film. I really love it. I think audiences are going to get a real kick out of it. And it's kind of it takes place during Christmas time. We're having like a company Christmas, movie. And I actually like holiday themed movies. I mean, it's not that it's a holiday themed movie. It's just when it takes place. But there's a lot of fun little Easter eggs in the movie that I think audiences are going to have a real kick with. I love it.
That is amazing. And is this film currently out right now, or is this going to be sooner released? And if it's going to be sooner to be released, when's the date on it?
It will be released this month, at the end of this month.
Amazing. Okay, we'll be looking for that. And also, there was also another award that you also got. It's been named in your honor, called the Sadie Katz Hustle Award. So tell us all about that and who have been the past winners so far and who's currently nominated for it this year.
Well, make sure I don't butcher this. So, basically, let's see.
Did he win an award too, or is he going to be a part of a film as well too? Is he trying to audition also?
I know. I think this was happening. So basically, AmDocs Film Festival, the American Documentary Film Festival. Boy, he's got things to say. So he's coming for my dead body.
Uh-oh.
So, I know.
Hey, maybe we can put him on. So.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
So, basically, Douglas Silverstein was the winner last year, and that was the first year it was given out. So he won the award for that, the Spirit of Sadie Katz Hustle Award, which, what a big deal. I'm very grateful. The American Documentary Film Festival, which is headed by Teddy, which is, that's where the Bill Murray Experience came out, and I was kind of a crazed filmmaker. I was very, very excited to have my film in the film festival there, and it was, won as part of the Best of the Fest, and I was crazy about going there and doing interviews and passing out postcards and handing out balloons, which kind of tied in with the film. And I just really feel like, I think what happens a lot of times with filmmakers is they have their film come out, and by that time they kind of have film fatigue. Mm-hmm. You just have done so much as a director. You're like, okay, I made my film. My film's in the film festival. And then they don't always do a lot to support it. And that was one thing that I found kind of interesting is, like, you go to film festivals and a lot of times the filmmakers will get their people that are in the film, but they won't necessarily get the word out about their film. So you'll go and you'll be sitting there and you'll only see, like, the people in the film and the audience, and they don't really advertise their film. You'll even go on, like, their Facebook page and they won't even mention their film. And I think some of that has to do a little bit with, like, the embarrassment, or they're a little bit don't want to champion their own film. I mean, it takes a lot to put it on the line, whereas I thank God for my friends, family, and my friends, my social media supporters and followers, that I went crazy over really asking people, like, please support my film. I worked really hard on this. and got sponsors to come out, and I threw a very big after party and had the musicians fly out who were in the film, and I just basically threw myself at the mercy of everybody, saying, please support this film, please give it a watch, give it a chance, and they really noticed it at Amdocs, and they were like, this is what we want our filmmakers to do, is really get people to fill our seats, because the film festivals spend a lot of money getting, putting on the films. And the problem is they need help from the filmmakers to actually get you to help bring people to actually see the films. That's part of what they're asking you to do, is to also drum up people, or the film festivals can't stay alive. And that's part of it. Mm-hmm. So that was partly what they were saying is, hey, we want to do an award in slam dance, does something similar as they do, the Spirit of Slam Dance, which is to reward the filmmakers for hustling and getting people to get excited about having their films in the film festivals, and letting people know that when you have 70 films at a film festival, you have to have people out there handing out and saying, come to my film festival, and supporting the other films. Because, one of the things that happens is you get your film in a film festival, and then people come and they only see one film. And you really are supposed to be there. And I'm guilty of this too. In film festivals, is you really want people to come there and be part of the film festival, which also means, and one thing that Amdocs does really well is when you have a film festival, it's really great if you do programming for a week that includes, the parties, and includes, the talkbacks and, Q&As, but more than the Q&As, that also has special guest speakers that talks about distributions and things like that you attend all those events. But that also puts it on the film festivals to create that. And Amdocs really creates a whole week of also exploring Palm Springs and seeing the area, and then having the filmmakers stay and support that. One thing that Amdocs does too is the filmmakers stay with people in the area who open up their house to the filmmakers. So by the time you're done with the film festival, you're part of this like family. And I'm still friends with some of the filmmakers that we were part of that group. Mm-hmm. So, that it became this whole film family and film festival family. And the film festivals that do that really well benefit, because then everybody attends everybody's screenings and they create these friendships and this networking group, and people end up coming back, and they come back not as filmmakers the next year. They're always filmmakers, but they also come back as attendees and, support the film festivals ongoing. So that was part of what that award was about. And last year's winner was Doug Silverstein. I don't want to mess up the title of it, so let me say his film was sorry, I want to get the title right. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm looking up the exact title, what it's called, because I think they changed the title. Oh boy, why doesn't he have the title on here? I'm looking. He's won a ton of awards too. It's called Life Coaches, Profits or Profits. So Profits or Profits, The Weight of Success. And he's a really lovely guy, and he did this wonderful documentary about whether or not, about this woman who had lost some weight and was, basically was writing a self-help book, and whether or not she was a guru or she was a hack. And it's a really fun documentary. And they sold out their screening of, I think, 500 seats. So he really hustled to do that.
Wow.
And so he won the award. And that's a hard thing to do in Palm Springs when you're also have a film festival with, 80 other films, 100 other films. a lot of those shorts, but still. So he did a great job at that.
It sounds very competitive. It's almost like to qualify for it, you have to basically get out there, hustle and hustle and hustle. And I was going to ask, can I nominate myself for this award too? I'm kidding.
Well, I do have to say that's the one thing as like artists today is you on top of being artists, as you have to get other people to come on your show. And so, it's funny. It's like you can't just do a radio show and you can't just do a podcast. You have to continually hustle, and then you have to get people to share your stuff and keep believing in your thing. So it's a never-ending hustle. Yeah, it's true.
That is amazing, too. And we'll also talk about your other film that you wrote as well, too. Did It Hurt? You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and Apple. Also, take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device and subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. We're here with actress, writer, producer, director from Los Angeles, Sadie Katz, as she talked about her wonderful career. She's been featured lately in Wrong Turn 6 as Sally Hilliker, also debuted in House of Bad with rave reviews, talked about some other films, including Automation, which won an award, The Bill Murray Experience, which won a couple of awards, and also, you also have a film that you wrote and produced called Scorned, which is 2013, starring Annalyn McCord, Billy Zane, and Viva Blanca, and tell us all about that.
Yeah, so that was my first film that I did. I did that with Mark Jones, who you may know him as the director and creator and writer of Leprechaun. So he created that franchise and wrote the first one. And so we did that movie together. That was quite a crazy journey. I originally co-wrote it with him to be the lead, and then we sold it to Anchor Bay, and as part of the deal, they, it was for $2.5 million, so they already had the attached names on it. So it was kind of like this lovely, lovely win because it was WGA, but I was also sort of sad because that was before my acting career really started to take off. So I was like, oh no, I don't get to be the lead in it. Which is funny because the character in that is very similar to the character I played in Wrong Turn, which was this crazy, sexed up hyper villain. But Annalyn McCord does a bang up job, and she really, the film's a lot of fun. It's kind of like a misery with younger people, and her boyfriend cheats on her with her best friend, and she, exacts her revenge. Half hell, half no fury, like a woman scorned. And now I've gone on. I just wrote a film with another writer, Min Collins, who directed it, called Circus Road. That's coming out through Lionsgate at the end of this month. And then I just wrote a pilot that is in post-production right now that I wrote by myself called Down the K-Hole. That is directed by Miles Reif, who was just nominated for an Emmy Award for a reality show. So, that was my first writing gig that was picked up. So that was very exciting. That was filmed in Portsmouth, Ohio. And one thing that was really fun is you fly out there and, we're in this very small town, and there's signs all over the town that say, like, please keep this city clean. We're going to be filming a movie here, and so there's something very fun about not only do you write this script, but you realize how many people are affected by something that you said, in my writing partner's, office. And then you fly to another state and you realize that this whole city is like rallied behind the fact that you're filming in their city. And that was really cool.
Wow, that was something too. And what was this based on, by the way?
Well, Wikipedia says it was based on a breakup, which is that I had, which is sort of true. Although the character Sadie tortures and, rips out the teeth and does all kinds of heinous, horrible things to her boyfriend and her best friend. But what happened was I went through a really bad breakup, and I went over to Mark's house and we were talking about how crazy people get in breakups, especially women. This was, I was in my 20s, or at the end of my 20s. Maybe I was 30 at the time. And, and we started talking about, I was, after a couple of glasses of whiskey, I was like, I go, you start having these fantasies of like, boy, if I could just tie him up and, make him admit what a low down, loser he is. I would rip out his toenails and I would do this. And we started to talk about how absolutely insane women get and that their anger is different than men's. It's like, I think men, it's like women, it's much more visceral. And we started making jokes about it. And, Mark and I are kind of buddies forever. And we started talking about how funny Misery is, because that was our favorite movie. And we started to talk about what if we did it with a younger girl who just goes off her hinges and ties this guy up. And, and we had some cheeky things to say about that. And, what's scarier than a woman with really bad PMS? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly, yeah. And of course, we'll talk more about where they can find your films. And, just a few minutes with Sadie Katz. You've been fantastic, by the way. Love to have you back in soon. And who are some of your favorite actors and actresses and your favorite TV shows and movies growing up? I forgot to ask you that, by the way. So,
yeah. Oh, right now. Well, for me, I would say, I was a really big, when I was younger, they were still playing Tales from the Dark Side and Tales from the Crypt. I thought that those were really scary. I love those little mini anthology, or, they were kind of updated Twilight Zones. I don't know if you remember them.
Yes, I do.
I love those. My movies that I really liked were, I loved Poison Ivy. You remember Poison Ivy with Drew Barrymore?
I do remember, yes.
I kind of like those sexy thrillers, so I was always a fan of those. I wasn't only just into horror films. I was actually really into Wizard of Oz and fantasies and romantic comedies. I mean, I was of the Drew Barrymore generation, so I was kind of crazy about anything that she did. But I mean, definitely Scream. The Shining to me is the absolute best horror film. I have a hard time actually watching it because I think visually Kubrick is, come on now. He puts ideas into your head that to me just you can't get them out for a few days. So those were, I really loved Meryl Streep. Growing up, I thought that she was great. I love Jack Nicholson. I think right now there's a couple seasons of American Horror Story that I thought were just great. I don't know if I like the 1980s one. I think it's cool, but I don't know if I'm dying to tune into it. Mm-hmm. But growing up, I thought that there was a lot of, I liked a lot of the 80s horror a lot. I thought it was pretty spot on. It was pretty good.
That is amazing as well, too. And what was your favorite project and the most challenging for you?
Well, I just did this thing in Italy called Megan with the director is an Italian director, Silvia Narcucci, and with Randy Wayne and Greg Travis, who I play I don't want to give anything away. It's a psychological thriller. I play a sister with another very talented actress, Lily, and I'm going to butcher her last name, but she's a Ukrainian actress and she's very, very good. And she's blind, and I'm hiding with her in a cabin in the woods, so to speak. And she has had something very terrible happen to her, and I'm keeping her away from everybody. And we have a hiker come by, Randy Wayne's character, and things start to happen. And it was very challenging because, one, we had an Italian crew, and so there was a language barrier, but also because the character has a lot of different levels, and there's a lot of, challenging things going on with the script, and there's a lot of twists and turns that I think will be really fun for the audience. So that was this summer that I filmed it in June for 5 weeks in Italy. So I'm really excited about that coming out.
That is fantastic. Looking forward to that. And what do you consider a most memorable moment?
Oh, boy. Well, there's a moment with Randy Wayne's character where I have him tied up, and I am dripping wax down his chest. And, we are doing this very, very challenging dialogue, but also there's, this fine line between being sexy and torturous and also being very, we're both sort of crying over each other. And the script is psychologically torturing without being sexy. I'm sort of punishing him for the wrongs that have been done to my sister. And I think it was such an intimate scene, but also we're filming it in front of the crew members. It was, to me, it was heartbreaking. And and also it's like, as an actor, to be able to like share that with another actor who's also like my buddy. If you know Randy Wayne, he's been in a ton of stuff. Like, look him up. He's just a fabulously talented, very handsome, very hardworking actor. And to open, for us to be both vulnerable like that, and was definitely a moment in filming that it was like, we kept saying, don't look at me. But yeah, we had to do the whole scene like with our eyes locked and with the camera, inches away from our face on a dolly crane. So that's a moment I won't soon forget.
That is amazing too. And just a few more minutes here. Who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
I have an acting coach, Mark Majarian, who I went to college in Orange County, but he studied Eric Morris with me, and he's just kind of been a mentor when I was younger, and about just being honest with my work. And even if it's a very, sometimes you're doing just a silly movie, and it's like a ghost movie, but how to make that be authentic. And sometimes when you're working really fast on, especially indie movies, you're shooting 8 or 9 pages a day. And how do you do that and jump into the character? And he'd always talk about like being a child in that moment. And kids don't always judge their acting or try to be pretty in the moment. And like, sometimes I try not to like judge my movie or judge my character, and just kind of have fun and, play my part the best of my ability, and then let it go. And so I would say he's been inspirational to me.
It sounds like it too, and great at it. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Oh boy, I would say, my biggest thing I always say to people is like, find a way to support yourself, financially, while pursuing acting, so you don't hang up, your pursuit of acting on needing, financial gain from it, because it's a really long journey, and it's a greedy, it's a small business that you're creating. So it's going to cost money before you're actually making money. And and you don't want to walk into the audition room thinking, oh God, I need to book this because I need the money. You just need to walk in and say, I'm going to have fun with this audition, or I'm going to, if I get this job, that's great, but I don't need it for the financial gain, because as you probably know, being an actor or being an artist is opening up your own small business. So that takes money in order for it to keep going. Mm-hmm. So you're pouring money into like a publicist. A lot of times actors they become an actor, and the first thing they do is they're like, oh, I need a manager, I need an agent. And I'm like, no, you don't. You really need to rep yourself and submit yourself, and the agent and manager will come when it needs to come. And sometimes you'll have an agent and manager for years, and then you won't need one for a little while, and then you have one again. And maybe sometimes you put that money that you got from a film back into, maybe you hire a publicist to promote your own film. Because sometimes you'll be in a film and it will come out and it just kind of goes into a vacuum. And you would have been better to promote your film. You got to promote your stuff. You got to show up for your own films and let people know that you're in them.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like it takes a lot of persistence, and that's the best advice out there. Sadie, just want to say a big thank you for your time. Sadie Katz, LA-based actress, writer, producer, and director in a number of films. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects, what's your website, how do people contact you, and where can people see your films at?
Well, my biggest project I have that I want to give a big shout out to is Felissa Rose and I. If you know Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp or the Hatchet films, or Victor Crowley, we have Room 236 that we're curating films on Thrillflix.com, which is a streaming channel. So if you go on Thrillflix.com, you can watch as many films as you want for $3.99 a month, and you click on Room 236. We have some specially picked out films that we've picked out for the audience. So that's a big deal. I have a film coming out called Clown Fear this month in automation as well. And you can find me on Instagram under Sadie Katz and Twitter under Sadie Katz. And I don't always have room, but you can follow me on Facebook under Sadie Katz. And that's about it. Please reach out to me, and you can also reach out to me on my website at sadiekatz.me.
That is amazing. Sadie, you've been fantastic. Thank you very much for your time. Looking forward to having you on again soon. And do me one favor, Sadie, okay? Keep us up to date.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and thanks for having me on.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. Also, become a sponsor of the program and or donate today at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again tomorrow for another episode of The Mike Wagner Show.